Craig is clearly still in the mad stage of grief because, Andy even asked him, what stage of grief are you at? And he's like, looking forward to the future. No, it's been a month. And Craig exaggerates, right? And I feel like Craig also just doesn't want to come across as sad because of what's going on with Paige, where I think it's okay if Craig is sad and if he's in the sad stage or if he's in the mad stage. I think that that's okay. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Morgan's Pop Talks, breaking down the latest in reality TV and pop culture, and I'm out of breath already. Why is this happening to me? I mean, I'm sure you guys can tell. The energy level's at 0 today. 0. Sick as a dog. Sick as a dog out here. But duty calls. We have a lot to discuss. And you know me, for the people, by the people, I'm not going to leave you high and dry, hanging on a Thursday when there's a lot to discuss. First week of being 32 years old. Feel like I'm on my deathbed. And that feels about accurate, When you're 21, 22, 23, you're looking forward to your birthday, go out on the town. When you're 32, you wake up on your deathbed. When you didn't do anything. Like, don't get it twisted. I did nothing on my birthday. I watched the Super Bowl, and that's it. Got up, went to church, came home, ate a piece of pizza, took a nap, then woke up with the nap hangover, then went to my parents, watched the Super Bowl, still was in that nap hangover, came home, woke up, and now I'm here. Now I'm here. It's gotten so bleak. It's gotten so bad. I ordered a neti pot today. That's when you know. I'm like over it. I'm ready to just literally flush my brains out if I have to get these sinuses under control. But right now I'm at the point in time, it's not just my sinuses. I'm getting the body chills. I don't know if I'm getting the flu or what. And it's about that time that the Advil is starting to wear off. So I'm getting the shakes. So if I don't know, start to go unconscious, don't be worried. I think I'll be fine. Hopefully. My emergency contact is right behind me. And I wasn't supposed to do a top of the show rant because I'm going to do it at the end of the show because I have a little something special for you. But I still did it. Get into the pop 3. We have to start with this Blake Lively resurfaced clip that is going viral for all the wrong reasons for her. For us, it's like, grab more popcorn, but for her, I mean, it really just does not look good. So this video of Blake Lively at the Forbes Power Women's Summit in 2022 has gone viral online, where she admits that she likes to insert herself into a movie's production, even though that's not what she is hired to do. So she says, I wanted to be a part of the narrative, whether that be in the writing, in the costume design, in creating the character. She says, when I would show up on a set, I knew that they just wanted me to show up and look cute and stand on a little pink sticker where I'm supposed to go and say what I'm supposed to say. But I always knew that wasn't fulfilling for me, she says. Sometimes I would have people who really resented that because they were like, we hired you to be an actor. When I went in the meetings, I wouldn't reveal that I actually need to have authorship in order to feel fulfilled. She admits that asserting after the fact, some people could feel like she's pulling out the rug from underneath her or from underneath them. And I'm like, if that doesn't sound like what Justin Baldoni is accusing her of doing to a T, I don't know what is, right? It started with the costume design where they had all this stuff picked. She came in, she didn't like it, and then she started wearing her own clothes, and it looked just a hot mess. I'm not big up on the books, and really, I haven't even watched the entire movie through because it was like a little painful. I got through half of it, and I was like, I don't think that I can do this anymore. But, Lily Bloom is supposed to be in her early 20s, just starting a business. And I'm sure you guys have seen this everywhere, but, a young 20s, just graduated, starting a business, isn't wearing a Valentino bag everywhere or 3 pairs of pants, just really odd things. But here, Blake Lively is admitting that that's part of her authorship. and that she has to have that. And when she's in these meetings trying to get these parts, she doesn't reveal to the people that is trying to hire her that, oh, I'm going to be way more creatively involved than you want me to be, right? And that's kind of what I was talking about last week, where I said, you know, a lot of people have been hung up on the fact that maybe Blake Lively had like goo eyes for Justin Baldoni or whatever. I'm like, okay, don't love it, right? I understand the lore of it, but don't love that. But to me, it's definitely more of a power struggle and an ego thing, especially when you're married to somebody like Ryan Reynolds. You kind of want to prove yourself to be of his caliber, if you will. And so hearing this, again, it just goes to show exactly what I said last week, where I feel like she felt like she had been snubbed by directors in the past, even though it may be as simple as, hey, we didn't hire you to be the costume director, you know? But wow, she's cooked, you guys. I do not see a way, unless they're like hiding this smoking gun, unless Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' team just know that they have it in the bag and they don't care to say all this publicly because they know it's going to play out in the court and they're going to win. Like, I have seen nothing, literally nothing, that backs Blake Lively up, that makes her story more believable than Justin Baldoni's, that makes her intentions better than Justin Baldoni's. You know, I feel like every single thing that Justin Baldoni's lawyer has said has been kind of, I don't want to say verified, but there's been evidence to support that their narrative is the more accurate one. And I felt that way after reading thelawsuitinfo.com. You know, I remember skimming through that 168 page website thinking she's cooked. Like, that's the only word that kept coming to my mind. She is cooked. And I don't understand how they can't see it. TikTok has really been like instrumental in uncovering all of these little extra details that Justin Baldoni's team could very easily use in actual court. So we'll see if this resurfaced clip does come up. I mean, to me, it sounds like confession almost, you know? So there you have it. There's your Blake Lively update of the week. The next biggest story in your pop three, The Bachelorette, is on pause. So this was kind of breaking news over the weekend. The series generally starts production in late winter, and then the last 3 seasons have aired in July. So normally they would be filming over the holidays. They would get it together for 5 or 6 months, and then it would start airing in the summer. Now, ABC has not announced the reason for the pause, but they're not saying that it's canceled. Look, it's not unheard of. I mean, just in Bachelorette past, in 2006 and in 2007, they didn't have the Bachelorette. You know, last year they didn't have Bachelor in Paradise, and people automatically go to assuming the worst. Does that mean that it's canceled? I don't think so. I mean, the Bachelor franchise has a lot on their plate right now with The Bachelor, and they are bringing back Bachelor in Paradise, and you do have the Golden Bachelor and the Golden Bachelorette. Their plate is just really full. And to fit 4 shows into 12 months is probably really hard and probably costs a lot of money. And I also did get an email. I don't know why I'm on the Bachelor Nation like casting call email list. Maybe after that one time that I did try out for The Bachelor way back when. I should tell you guys about that story someday. Anyways, they are casting for the Golden Bachelor, specifically a Golden Bachelor. So I don't think that we're going to be getting any of the guys from Joan's season. They were like, if you're looking for love, we're casting the next Golden Bachelor. Let us know. So this to me kind of says that the way the year is going to play out is, like I said, right now we have Grant's season going on. We'll have Bachelor in Paradise in the summer, and then in the fall we'll have another Golden Bachelor season. However, Rachel Recchia was on some Bachelor podcasts. Honestly, all of them, like in my mind, all the Bachelor Nation official podcasts are one podcast. So I don't know which one it is. It was one of them, right? But she said, I was shocked because I heard that they had picked the lead already. I heard the lead was decided, and it made sense to me who they picked. She says, again, rumors. So who's to say that that was true or not? But if Rachel Recchia knew who they picked, or knew a rumor of who they picked, it had to have been somebody who's already been eliminated from Grant's season, right? And the only person to me that would really make sense that people, I say people I was very upset with went home was Chloe. I thought Chloe was great. She was funny. The closest thing we've gotten to body, diversity on the show. She's like stunningly gorgeous. The face card is lethal. But I don't know. So we'll see. How pissed do you think all those girls are? They're probably like, you're joking. You're joking, right? They'll be on Bachelor in Paradise, honestly. They got to chill. It'll be fine. Last but certainly not least, in this week's Pop 3, we had a shocker. Jennifer Affleck from from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. That's the one. I was thinking Salt Lake City. Is pregnant with baby number 3. After all that, if you know, you know. If you don't, I'm about to explain it to you. So Jennifer Affleck is pregnant with baby number 3 with her husband, Zach. So she did a People exclusive and said I was a few days late. And while it was a surprise, we both had a feeling there was another baby waiting for us. We're very excited. There was a lot of emotions after a crazy year. Crazy year is putting it lightly. Jen Affleck fell off the face of the earth after season 1 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives because there was so much controversy around her marriage to Zach. In season 1, people were talking about them a lot and not in a good way. They had these really big fights. A lot of viewers did not like the way that Zach treated Jen when they were in these fights. People wanted her to leave that relationship. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say leave the relationship or whatever. I don't know what goes on in their relationship behind closed doors. But she also was posting things without her wedding ring. She was also posting things like, so glad that my girls got me. Everybody was thinking they were breaking up. Everybody was thinking that they were breaking up. I mean, even Jen in this People exclusive says season 1 took a toll, not only on my marriage, but also my mental health. There were many dark days. There's so much more to our story than people realize. She says, while I'm not sharing all the details online, it's been essential for our relationship and mental health to keep our journey private until we're ready to talk about it. So at that point, we were like, is she coming back for season 2? Because at the end of season 1, it was kind of vague. I think they were moving to New York. They were moving somewhere. We didn't know. Then she wasn't really posting with any of the other Mom Talk girlies. We're like, oh, Jen has been whisked away, never to be seen again. Like, poof, she's gone. But she's back. She is coming back for season 2. So she said, filming can be incredibly mentally draining. And adding pregnancy along with all the challenges I faced this last season was a big challenge. After dealing with the backlash from season 1 and stepping into season 2 with a lot of baggage, this pregnancy has been the toughest. She says, however, those moments along with carrying this baby have helped me realize what truly matters most. I've learned that help and resources are available if you seek them. This journey has profoundly changed me and shaped the person, mother, and friend I aspire to be. I'm super interested to see how season 2 is going to play out for Jen and Zach. I mean, it seems like Zach and even his family members were extremely unhappy with the way that they were portrayed on season 1. I mean, like I said, fans were in the comment section begging Jen to leave Zach. So the fact that they agreed to come back and the fact that they're now having another baby, like she said, there's a lot of story to be told here. And honestly, like I'm not saying that she had a baby to make season 2 more interesting. What I am saying is that the cast of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, like they just are inherently interesting people. They don't have to try too hard, and maybe that's just because they're 2 seasons in, and when it gets to 10 seasons in, we're going to have the same problems that we have on the Real Housewives franchises. But drama follows those Mormon girlies. But I do love those Mormon girlies. Last year I said they were one of my top favorite pop cultural moments of the year was The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Nothing could compare it to Love Island, but that's not what we're here to discuss. So I am going to zip it. All right, let's get into this week's deep dive. And it is just none other than all of the updates in Craig, Paige, Joe D'Amelio, Sally Carson, all the things. Summer House versus Southern Charm. Like, we're deep. we're deep in there, and a lot happened at the Super Bowl this weekend. A lot happened on Watch What Happens Live last week. So let's start there, because this all kind of built back up with Craig on Watch What Happens Live. We were all waiting for what he was going to say. He hadn't really spoken out publicly, except on his Instagram story where he's in that little cream cable knit sweater, and you just could not help but feel bad for his perfectly coiffed hair. You know, you could just tell that he was sad about his breakup with Paige. Well, there's been a lot of conflicting narratives going around. You know, we have seen or heard that Paige has been spotted on multiple occasions with a new man. Well, now we've seen it with our own two eyes, right, at the Super Bowl. So he said on Watch What Happens Live, he pretty much clarified that it wasn't mutual and that he was blindsided. Now, to be determined on the blindsided thing, right? Like, is it going to be a Carl and Lindsay situation where you turn a blind eye to all the problems that are going on in your relationship, and, you know, when your relationship ends, you had those rose-colored glasses on thinking that things would get better and you're blindsided that way? Or are you truly blindsided? Well, he says it wasn't mutual. She broke up with me. We all knew that. And he said that he doesn't want to comment on the cheating rumors. And his reasoning for that is interesting, right? He says, I didn't say it, so I don't feel like I should have to come to her defense. Now, when I first watched him say that, I was like, okay, Craig is clearly still in the mad stage of grief, because, you know, Andy even asked him, what stage of grief are you at? And he's like, I'm looking forward to the future. No, it's been a month. And Craig exaggerates, right? And I feel like Craig also just doesn't want to come across as sad because of what's going on with Paige, where I think it's okay if Craig is sad, and if he's in the sad stage or if he's in the mad stage. I think that that's okay. And, you know, at that time when he said, I don't want to comment on these rumors, I thought it was because he was being, you know, he was answering out of spite, you know, saying, she broke my heart, saying without saying. She broke my heart. Now she wants me to defend her. That's not happening, right? Well, now we're getting some more detail. And there are some theories out there that maybe Craig has reason to think that she wasn't entirely faithful throughout the entire time. Now you see this on places like DeuxMoi, where DeuxMoi will say, you know, Paige did not cheat, but there was like overlapping communication, or there were DMs sent. And it's like, okay, well, what do you classify as cheating? And I'm not saying that Paige did, okay? I'm just saying, like, I saw that clip of DeuxMoi and I was very confused, because they're like, yeah, there was some overlap in communication. It's like, is that not maybe she was just talking about physical cheating, but I don't know. So there's also this thing on DeuxMoi. I saw a blind that said, we saw Craig at the show over the weekend, and he told my friend that he has reason to think that Paige was talking to this Joe D'Amelio for 6 months. Now, DeuxMoi, you got to take it with a grain of salt. I always say it. But, you know, he's like, I'm mad at Kyle and Amanda. You know, they want me to get into the mud. I'm not getting into the mud. He says, we were talking about our future. I was moving to New York, which was kind of a surprise to all of us, right? We didn't know. And he even said to Andy, you know, I don't want to say everything, but Andy, you know that I was moving to New York, which is interesting. Why would Andy know, unless it had significant meaning for, you know, Summer House or Southern Charm, or maybe a different show? I'm not sure. But then he says she wanted different people. She wanted other people. So again, he's not coming out and saying, like, I think Paige cheated on me. He's not saying that. But he is kind of alluding to the fact that that she left him for someone else. That's just the way that I read the situation. He also goes into a little bit of a tangent about how he's upset that people say love isn't enough, and that if you want to make it work, you make it work. And he said specifically long distance relationships, like, if you want it to work, it will work. And I agree with him. Hello. 5-year cross-continental, 5-hour time difference. Like, if anybody knows how to make a long-distance relationship work, it's me. And, you know, I do agree with him that love is enough. It is, if you guys both want the same things at the same time. But it's clear that that's not what Paige wanted. You know, like, if love was enough for Paige, they would be married and she would have a baby by now. that's not what she wants out of life. Does that mean that she didn't ever love him? I don't think that that's what that means. But, I think Craig is upset at this moment. He's allowed to be upset. So then we get to Super Bowl weekend. And Craig was there, and Paige was there, and this Joe D'Amelio character was also there. We've seen photos from inside the hotel room where people are putting it together like, oh, I think Paige and this Joe guy are staying at the same hotel room. There's like this belt bag, which I'm like, I cannot believe that Paige DeSorbo is being seen with a guy wearing a belt bag. You have to be joking. But also, there's this picture of them walking and holding hands. And, I've been trying to say like this, this friend of Paige's, but you don't link fingers with somebody that's just your friend, in my opinion. So maybe they're not just friends. But like I said, maybe that's why Craig is so reluctant to say that there wasn't any overlap, because he might have suspicion that there was. Joe D'Amelio's ex-fiance did come out and say something on her Instagram story that didn't get a lot of pickup. Honestly, I'm just going to be real with you. I think so many people just love Paige so much that they don't want to see it, don't want to believe it, don't want to read into it. But this is what this girl did say. Her name is Rachel Durante on January 17th. And this Rachel was engaged to Joe D'Amelio. She says, regarding what's been out there this past week, during my relationship, disrespectful messages were sent to a man who was spoken for with absolutely no regard or respect for another woman or her relationship, insinuating for him to leave me for her. As my relationship went on, the banter continued, and I was purposely made to feel insecure, and my relationship was undermined. As someone who holds themselves to such high standard and claims to be a girl's girl, her actions contradict this. She says, I had the courage to leave a toxic situation, and as a girl's girl myself, I'll continue to lift other women up and the relationships up, not try to tear them down for my own good. I refuse to have anyone lie on my name and write their own false narratives about my life. That it is what it is. I wish everyone the best. Like that doesn't sound right, but also I don't know who this Rachel Durante person is. I don't know. More about Paige and Craig is definitely going to come out. I feel like as this season of Summer House starts to air, the cast of Summer House knows something that we don't. They know something we don't. Paige posted on her Instagram story, can't wait until this season starts airing. Carl said in an interview about Craig, what I uncovered was his behavior at a period of time was not great at all, he said. Kyle and Amanda fiercely defending Paige. So they know something that we don't know. And I think we're going to see it play out on this season of Summer House. And of course, you're going to have Craig's friends go to bat for him, as they would, Austin and even Miss Patricia. But you also have to remember that Austin and Craig weren't all that close at this particular time in their friendship. This whole season of Southern Charm is about that topic. Austin has been on podcasts saying, I found out about their breakup when the rest of the world did. So obviously Craig also kept a lot of maybe potential issues that they had close to the vest. But I think we're in for a riveting season of Summer House. Also, some fans said they saw Sally Carson out to dinner, maybe with Craig Conover. I mean, typical, right? I don't love it. I don't love it because you guys, I don't know how I want to say this. I'm just going to say it how I am saying it in my head. It just seems kind of opportunistic from Sally when you consider, if it's true, from Sally, when you consider that she was on The Bachelor and then she left because she wasn't over her ex-fiance, and then she came to Bachelor in Paradise and then she left. And then she started trying to date Joe Bradley on Southern Hospitality, and then ended up seeing Gaston, who is now Taylor's boyfriend, and then that's how she ends up on Southern Charm. And now she's going on a date with Craig. I'm not loving that, if I'm going to be completely honest. But we'll see. You guys already know. I think Craig and Rachel Kirkconnell would be just the cutest little couple. Rachel said in an interview recently that she wants to date a simp next. And I'm like, perfect. I know one. He's the Pillow Prince of Charleston, South Carolina. And he's on a little show that we like to call Southern Charm. Okay, so that's all I have to say about that. All right. Now, normally we get into final thoughts here, but it's been a big week here for me, even though I feel like I'm on my deathbed and I'm about to pass out at literally any given moment. But I wanted to do something special for you guys today. If you haven't heard, I launched a second podcast with my husband, David, who has just the most adorable South African accent that you will ever hear. He's just as cute as a button and he's hilarious. So I'm like, people need more of David in their life. And so we decided to launch a married couples podcast together, and it's just really meant to make you laugh. I was talking to David this week, and I told him, like, I just miss when life was fun. You know, there's so much just heaviness and darkness around us at all times. I really just think that for him and I, we want to make something that can be a little ray of light in your day, if you so wish to listen to it. So I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of our brand new podcast that's out now if you want to listen to it. So here is Seriously. And the name of the show is...
Seriously.
Seriously. And how did this come to be, Dave?
We had a little shared note going on in Apple Notes. We had a few ideas written down. And none of them were vibing. We were just like, too cheesy. I thought I had one. Like 3 months ago, I thought I had one.
Oh, yeah, you did think that you had one.
I don't even remember what it was.
Tea in America. It was called Tea in America.
Tea in America with Morgan and Dave.
And the best part is that Dave was so excited about the name, which I understand the name because you are half British, half South African, your blood, right?
And I'm in America.
Right. And, you know, I, pop culture aficionado, like the tea. So you were like just trying to make a play on all the words, right?
Right. And like a lot of the things that are amusing to your audience are the things that I like are very new to me in America. And like cultural differences and just experiences being freshly in America, fresh off the boat. Why is that so funny?
I'm just laughing because, like, as you sit here and try to explain it, where I was going with the story is that you had that same explanation one day when we were driving in the car.
I remember that conversation.
I videotaped it and I sent it to who our boss is here on the podcast, and he was like, I don't get it. Like, as you're saying it, I mean, I do get it, but I just think it was too niche.
It's too limited, and I think the whole idea of trying to squeeze the word tea into everything within your thing is just too much now.
Silly.
The whole idea of like, oh, spill the tea, whatever.
The whole idea of it.
I was trying to design merch for you that had like tea in it, and it's just like
overdone.
It's stale now,
honestly.
And Harley, I really hope that that's not on camera, you dirty dog.
He's licking his you-know-what.
We figured we'd keep him in the shot. Look,
well, he physically can't leave now because he's trapped in by all of our equipment, and now he's licking our equipment.
But he's the producer. I'm the tech guy as well. So I've got everything under wraps here, and Morgan's driving
the bus. Yes, David let me know 6 times before he started pressing the play button. You're driving the bus.
I've got one topic to contribute to today's episode.
Okay.
And I'm quite excited about it.
Okay, well, we'll get to that in a little bit. Why did you want to do a podcast with me?
There's actually quite a few reasons.
Can I tell you that I have a theory? Because I actually don't know why you wanted to really do a podcast with me.
Okay, let's hear it.
We never have had this conversation.
Cool, let's hear it. I'm excited about that.
My theory on why you were so keen to do a podcast with me is
is for this setup right here. Techie Dave
Yeah, you're not
would
wrong.
love to get on Amazon and buy the hard drives and buy the mic stands and buy the lights and buy the cameras. And I feel like that is what you
true.
were more excited about than actually doing a podcast with me.
You're not wrong about that. That's a big part of it. I would say the other thing is, one, like I've seen like your podcast grow, and I also have a full-time job for a company that our customers are creators. And I've seen like how successful they can be. And I've seen like where this world of media is going. And when I heard your network give us like a bit of, they were like, look, I think you guys should do something together. That was like the seed. And I was like, heck yeah, let's just do it. And I think if we just commit to recording a bunch of episodes and seeing where it goes from there, that'll be it. But like I overthink everything. So I think the fact that I'm doing it with you is, one, you're going to like smack me over the ear when I need to be smacked over the ear, which you've done multiple times in the setup to this. But I also think it's cool for us to be working on something together.
That's nice.
Yeah. Because I like the flexibility that you've got. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the things that you've done.
All right. We're not going to get into all the mushy gushies. Go upstairs, get the vows.
Why do you want to do this?
Well, because I can acknowledge that people like you probably more than they like me. Not like literally, but people are obsessed with you on my page. They're always like, we need more Dave. I mean, the accent speaks for itself. I think you're the funniest person that I know.
Wow. What a great honor. Thank you.
So the stakes are high, because if you're not funny, then this is not going to go over very well.
But the interesting thing is, and we know this about me, is that as soon as you put me in front of a camera or mic,
You're a totally different person.
the tap turns off.
Yeah.
And it's going to take me a while to like
Loosen up.
loosen.
Well, I will tell you, you should be loosened up by now, because did you know for this first ever podcast episode, you decided to wear the pants where there's a huge hole in your crotch?
If I'm not wearing white undies, you can't really tell. So hopefully I'm not wearing white undies today. Otherwise I'll sit like this. I've got no idea what that camera looks like from here anyway. So talking about walking, that's walking. I can't see that camera. So
Yeah, I can't see it either. But that's also because you've had something going on with your eye.
But that's not the reason. It's
What's
just
the
too far away.
situation going on with your eye?
When I was 27, I got really, really bad chickenpox, like very severe. Doctors were pretty concerned.
So that's just 6 minutes of our first episode, which you can listen to now. We are having a little bit of issue with Apple Podcasts. I hope to God that it's up by now. If not, then there's like a bigger issue and we're going to have to really get on it. But if it's not available on Apple yet, it is on Spotify. It's also on YouTube. And if you love your girl, why don't you follow us on social media? If you search The Seriously Show on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, you will find us there. Like I said, I really hope it just makes you laugh. I hope it's able to brighten your day. New episodes drop every single Tuesday. And that's it for today's episode of MPT. Leave me a little review-a-loo, a 5-star boop boop, a little love you like a sis. If not, I'm going to take a nap because I'm dying. And I'll see you next week. Love you like a sis.